All right, guys, so now we've got your race car project. This is what you guys are going to do today. So a couple of things we're going to look at is how it's going to be set up. So first things first, all right, you're going to click the green flag, all right, and then besides that, when you press the up arrow, the car should start moving. Now, just because it hits the green doesn't mean it stops, but as soon as it quits touching the gray, game over, okay? Except for they're controlled independently. So, for example, this car is, as you can see, part of it start touching the gray again, so you'll get it to move a little bit. You can get it through there. This car on the left, the pink, is controlled with A and D. All right, and the blue car is controlled with the left and right arrows. Okay, so green flag resets. They can start and be controlled independently, separate from each other. That's what we're going to be creating today. So with that being said, further ado, I'm going to get out of this. This is an example of what the code looks like, but this is very similar to what you guys are going to be on for your test, the second part of your test. So make sure you can do this without looking at the code and being able to reason through it. Okay, let's get started. So this project, how we're going to do this, and you're going to have to show this to me at the beginning of class tomorrow. All right, we don't need the cap, but we need backdrop. So let's go in here and let's paint our backdrop. So we only need one backdrop. I want to go ahead and I'll convert it to a bitmap. And all our background really was a green background once again. So let's get a green color. And then I'm going to use this tool. You can use line tools. You can use a bunch of different ways, but I find it quickest to just use the rectangle tool. And I'm going to start drawing my shape. Click off of it. Does not have to be perfect. Perfect's always nice, but it doesn't have to be. And I might do it like this. Doesn't really give me a ton of space for it to screw up, but it'll be alright. So we're going to start with it like that. And let's jump into our code. Now, we can't do our code until we have our car. Now, for this project, I do expect you guys to follow my steps and create this vehicle. So first things first, we're going to have car 1. That's what we're going to name it. And as you noticed, all right, it was not really anything crazy. So I want to make my first one blue. All right, so I'm going to play around in here until I get a blue color I like. That's fine. All right, and there we go. Now, I don't want the outline. So I start with a rectangle. And then I'm simply just going to keep adding a couple more. Okay, small one at the front. And then if you are someone that, oh, nope. So you go back here. Control Z allows you to come back and get rid of stuff or undo stuff. So now I'm going to add that small one back to the front. Click off of it, and now I'm going to switch my color to black. And what I'm going to add now is my tires. Now, if you're someone that is like, nope, everything's got to be the same, use Control C to copy, Control V, and that way you can make sure your tires are the same size and in line with each other. And Control C, Control V, and I want to move this to the back. Now, you're like, man, this is probably really too tedious, more tedious than it needs to be. Yeah, you're probably right. And then the last thing I want to do here is I'm going to add like a little color, like I got a little helmet there. And I want to use a circle, and there we go. That's my car. All right, so that's car 1, and I want to show you this is extremely easy once we actually get into this. First of all, I need my car to fit on the track, so I'm going to go over here to my size. I'm going to knock him down to like 20. That's probably a good size because I got to remember I got to have 2. I want to situate it where I want it to start in that top left-hand corner. So let's go ahead and start with what we know when the flag is clicked. We want it to start in this spot. So when the flag is clicked, every time that car is going to go right here, no matter what happens. Now, we know we've got to make this car move. So let's go ahead and say move. Now, I want it to start when the button is clicked, okay? And because of that, we you can code it a couple different ways. I'm going to show you guys the easiest way, and that is to start when the up arrow is pressed. So we're going to say, all right, when the up arrow is pressed, I want this car to move. Now, you could use repeat, how forever, you can do whatever. I'm going to show you guys a new way, and the easiest way is to say not repeat 10, but you're going to say repeat until. So it's going to continue doing this. Once you press that up key, it is going to repeat until we tell it what happens. Now, we want it to not stop when it touches the grass. Just because you're in the grass doesn't mean you're completely out. You can swerve back in. So we're going to say, all right, we're going to use our touching color, but we're going to use this operator here. This is the easiest way if you will study and remember this. You're going to say repeat until, we want it to keep moving until it is no longer got a tire or any part of it on the pavement. So now what you'll see now is boom, it will repeat, and then it stopped as soon as it got there. You can't see as much right now because it ends right there, but it is no longer going. We'll show you here in a second. Now we got to be able to control this thing. So let's go back to what we know before, and that is that when the right arrow is clicked, we want it to turn 15 degrees. And we'll go ahead and pull our left out here and say when the left arrow is clicked, we're going to get it to turn the other way. So now what you can see here, there we go. And for example, when I press the up arrow, as soon as it lands in the grass, it no longer goes. So we've got most of what we need here. Now the only big thing is like, let's say we start like that. Do we want it to start like that? No, make our life easier. We're going to tell it to point in the right direction every time that green flag is set. And now we can go around our racetrack just like that. Now, a couple things we've talked about before. It is very important when selecting this, all right, that you have this kind of centered or very close to centered. Otherwise, it will not work correctly. Okay, so for example, if I were to move this way out here, first of all, you see how it swings those wide arcs? We don't want that. All right, you want to keep it close. And so now we can move and such. You realize yours is if you're going too fast, move your speed down. Or if it's not turning fast enough for you, just turn the degree up angle wise. All right, you should be able to make it around your project, all right, a full loop. Now, just like so, not quite a full loop, but I'll give it to myself because, well, why not? All right, so we make it around. There's your full loop. And you can see I'm off. It doesn't work. Now, here's the easy part. We need two of these. So I'm going to click my flag. It resets there. I'm going to call this one car 1, not 12. And then I'm going to right click. I'm going to click duplicate. And now I got car 2. And here's the thing. It is going to follow exactly what the other one does. The code is exactly the same. So a couple of things we need to look at. First of all, we need two different sets of controls. Instead of when the up arrow starts, we're going to say W. All right. So now it will stay in place, won't move until W is pressed. Instead of the right arrow, we want, let's say, right, we would go with D, and left, we would go with A. So now what you'll have here, boom, there's another one in there. Let's change the color so we can tell the difference. So we're going to go under costumes. Car 2 is selected here. And we're simply, I'm going to choose convert to bitmap, makes it easier. I'm going to use the paint can, and I'm going to just change the color to, let's say, red. So now we have two different cars there. So when I go back, I click that green flag, go back into my code here. Come on now. When that's really odd. When the up arrow is clicked, it for some reason is not moving. Let's go ahead and finish this one out. Let's see. Sometimes this glitches up. We know we're right. Repeat until not touching that color. Let me refresh this. Scratch. Gotta love it. There we go. Just needed to refresh it. All right. We now have the two different controls, the two different cars. The only thing we don't like is the fact that they're right on top of each other. So the easiest thing to do, just grab your number 1 or number 2, doesn't matter. It's easier to grab number 1. And now you're just going to add a new go-to block. So I'm going to drop this one, plug this new one in, and there we go. We've got two different cars all right, controlled with different functions, and they both stop when they no longer touch that. That's it. All right. Now, if you want an alternate method, I'll show you that really quick. Otherwise than that, if you want the easy method, that is one way to do it. I will show you another one really quick. All right. So instead, let's say we didn't use this. We'll say this. Now, we know from what we've done before, if we want to move, we're going to need a move block. If we wanted to continually move, we're going to need a forever block, unless we use repeat, which we now know. All right. And so we're going to say forever move 10 steps, but we didn't want that to move until a key is pressed. So what we have to look for is under our controls, we're going to say if, we're going to look under sensing, okay, if, in this case we use the up arrow is pressed, then move 10 steps. Not just move, we've got to say forever move, right? So we're going to say if the up arrow key is pressed, then forever move 10 steps. So we're looking at that right now. So boom, now we've got it moving. Now we have to add the next part in there, and that is if it's not touching, okay? So once again, we're going to look for touching. We know it's got to do that, okay? We're going to say if that car is not touching the gray, then what do we want it to do? We don't want to stop all, but we want to stop this script. And that allows it to stop just this car. If we say stop all, I'll show you what happens. All right, forever move 10 steps inside that forever block, because we want it to continually check for that. Okay, so I'm going to start them both at the same time. All right, now that stopped this script, but if I were to say stop all, alternatively, stop the red car too. So we want to make sure if we use a stop all, be aware. All right, we don't in this case, we just wanted to stop the script. All right, that is your alternative method. That to me is harder. It's a lot easier to focus on the repeat until. All right, so those are your two new blocks for today. Make sure you have this project completed. I will come around at the beginning of class tomorrow and make sure everybody has it, answer any questions, and get you guys ready for your test. All right, that's it.